Gang, we're trying a new green screen. Welcome back to Warden's Will, and welcome officially to Warden's Will, as this is the day the game drops on Steam. That's right, this game is out now on Steam. You can go get it for yourself. But in case you still don't know if this is the game for you, we're gonna run through every single weapon in the game and what it does, how it works, and how I personally feel about it. So if this is something you enjoy, please let me know. And I hope my effects are up to code. Hopefully everything is, looking all right. I'm using a camera I haven't used before. I'm using a green screen I haven't used before, but let's get right into it. I'm also going blind because I'm looking directly into an LED light. How do vloggers do this? But we're gonna jump right into the first gun in the game, the very first default introductory gun, the Rad Rifle. With its sleek little red design, and surely it'll make your AR dreams come to life, and the secondary is a quality shotgun. But in all seriousness, the primary fire is just a basic assault rifle. It has a really fast rate of fire and medium damage to low damage to kind of make up for it. It's incredibly accurate. When you get up to fist fighting range, you got the shotgun to cool down yourself. Because if you didn't know, we don't have ammo here in Warden's Will. Instead, you build up heat, which you dispel by using your right click, which is your secondary fire. Each gun has a completely unique secondary fire, just like they have a completely different primary fire, and the Rad Rifle uses a shotgun to dispel heat. It's a very close range but very powerful shot, so it provides a good contrast of having long range and short. But how does it actually feel to use? Here's a boss fight behind me, because this is where guns are really going to be important. During boss fights, the only thing you can do is dodge and jump, so abilities are completely disabled. Also, great job picking up all those on-kill augments. They don't do anything here. But once you get the kind of hang of how Fortress and Breaker work, you'll be able to kind of gauge where you want to be, if you want to be close, if you want to be far away. The Rad Rifle's got you covered on every single front. Now, despite all of my wonderful praise, I gotta rate this gun at a solid 5 out of 10. It's not my favorite, it's not my least favorite. It's a solid all-around pick, and especially getting right into the game, you can't go wrong with just an assault rifle shotgun combo. Now, what I am more partial to is our second gun, the railgun, which is just a sniper rifle, so it has a couple of shots, not a lot before you're overheating, so you gotta be careful and manage your heat properly, but their primary shots are completely accurate and they go as far as the map goes. There's no drop off, there's no fall off, and they're just powerful sniper shots. And once you build up enough heat, you can right click at any point to dispel all of the heat at once in a high powered, depending on how much heat you've got, higher powered piercing shot that goes right through every single enemy. It feels so good to use, and the range is just something you cannot beat. Also, did I mention it's hit scanned? Like, you can't go wrong. It's a point and click adventure with the sniper rifle. Now, how does it fare in boss fights? Absolutely fantastic. It's a sniper rifle. You don't have to be close at all. All you gotta do is run away, dodge, and shoot them, and you charge up your heat. You go like, what, 4 shots to max heat, basically. Right click, dispel all of it, and just do it again. All you gotta do is dodge and shoot, which is why I'm ranking this at a solid 9 out of 10. This is one of my favorite guns to use. I will always fall back on this. This is just my go-to gun. Now let's get into something a little bit more unique. Warden's Will has an abundance of unique characteristics, and the Cryo Flare is nothing short of that. The Cryo Flare is a snowball launcher that shoots ice shards at incredible velocity. That's insane. Lower accuracy and lower rate of fire of the Rad Rifle, but it makes up for in damage. It's fully automatic, and the great thing about all these fully automatic weapons is that you can hold down left click and just hit right click to dispel whenever you feel like it. But let's flop right onto the other side of icicles. Cryo Flare's secondary part is balls of napalm that stick to the enemies and burn for about 5 seconds. They're a little bit larger, so they're easier to hit, and obviously they do a little bit more damage. Now, I'm terrible with this weapon. I used to love it when it first came out in these playtests. I don't know what happened. I think I got older or something, but I just can't figure out how this darn thing works. I will rate the Cryo Flare a solid 7 out of 10. Boss fights, it holds up. Napalm is absolutely fantastic to have, and you can just shoot everything. It don't matter if you miss a couple, because most of them are going to be hitting. Apart from the LMG, this is the closest thing that we're going to get to something like an SMG. Speaking of the LMG, this is the Gatling gun cannon. It has the most amount of ammo, which basically just means you can pull it up to the highest amount of heat for obvious reasons. It's a Gatling cannon. It has the most amount of time before cooling down, but you want to stay at a higher heat because it shoots faster, more accurately, and then those right clicks are just little balls that shoot out like a cannon. So yeah, it is equal parts cannon and equal parts Gatling gun. This cannon is definitely better for swarms of enemies versus the boss, because you can just kind of spray and don't have to pray too much. It can really do some high AoE damage with the right click as well. It's got a harder early game, but complemented with augments that increase, effectiveness at higher heat, this thing can really put in work. As I was saying, for bosses, it's not as optimal since there's only one target, and the Necker God might prove to be a little bit difficult since it's so far away and you're focusing on like 3 other things at the same time. Plus, I'm not very good at managing heat, so I tend to overheat. But with decreased skill level, that just means I need to play it a little bit more. Personally, I'm going to put the Gatling Cannon at also a little bit around 5 out of 10. It's just not my playstyle. I had a lot of fun with it the first time I played it, but it's not going to be something I reach for immediately. Next up, we'll get back on track with our more unique weapons. This is the Plasma Ball Spewer, which is an absolutely insane name for a weapon. Primary shoots out insane little high velocity velocity, small, super bouncy like Nerf ball type balls. Pretty accurate, has higher damage, lower attack speed, but not too low. But the secondary shot is the real money shot here. It shoots out huge non-bouncy balls that stick to anything it hits immediately, which it can be juiced up with the primary fire or hit with another right click and it'll explode, doing huge amounts of AoE damage. I really like the plasma ball spear. It's super fun and it's great for bosses, especially with the right click, just making it so simple. So I'm gonna rate this one at a solid 7 out of 10. Now if I was a wordsmith, a script wizard, I would create a completely new video just on this one weapon because of how much it's awesome, easy, and I absolutely love it. I'm talking about the only 10 out of 10 I'm giving to any of these weapons, my favorite weapon in the entire game, the Starforger. I enjoy this weapon so much because of how simple it is. Primary fire is a pro star under a constant state of nuclear fusion, which for my non-science speakers means it's doing this. Or pulsing. It does AoE damage as it flies, which pairs beautifully with the secondary attack, which is just a black hole. It collapses gravity and pulls in enemies towards it. Anything flying, anything on the ground, up off the ground, down out of the sky, it doesn't matter. It does a little bit of damage, but the primary focus is that it makes it easier for you to hit your pro stars. The projectile speed is pretty slow, which means that these things stay in the sky for an incredibly long amount of time, which fits the AoE personality completely. Have I mentioned that it's just great for literally any scenario? Got a bunch of enemies surrounding you? Black hole. Got an enemy flying around you and bugging you? Black hole. You got a boss jumping you? Black hole. Wait a minute, they have CC immunity. Hold on. But in all seriousness, it doesn't matter because you just shoot more pro stars, you shoot more black holes. Maybe it slows them down a little bit, but it's that constant damage no matter where they are. As long as it's in the general vicinity, I guess, they're just gonna take damage. You can even just like shoot a black hole at the ground, shoot some pro stars, and leave, and they'll all be dead by the time you turn around if you want to. So as I said, this is my favorite 10 out of 10 weapon. Perfect for any scenario, perfect for just winning the game if you feel like it. So if you're going on a little bit of a challenge, maybe you don't want to pick up any augments throughout your run, this weapon will get you to the end goal. Next up we have the Electral Lance, where the primary just shoots out a conducive rod of metal, has a little bit of drop off, but it's powered with electricity. It's got long range and a medium rate of fire. It does alright in damage area, but the real use for it is the secondary. Point, click, chain lightning. The secondary is a point and click, and it attaches to the first enemy or the first lightning rod in range, and if there's any other enemies or lightning rods in the area, it'll chain to those ones as well. So you build up a lot of heat by shooting out a lot of rods on maybe a boss perchance, and then just completely zap them out using your secondary. It is the most satisfying gun to use in my opinion, but I'll rate this an 8 out of 10 just because I feel like it gets a little bit too much towards the late game. If you don't have a butt ton of augments that buff stuff like your damage or give you a little bit of extra help, you might seem like you're fighting a little bit too much during these swarms. But I gotta say, it makes the game feel just a little bit simpler to control. Don't know what it is, it just feels like I feel like I'm in control when I'm using the ElectriLance. It's a super manageable gun, I almost never hit my overheat, but as I mentioned, it just takes a little bit more time to do damage enough to kill. But it's absolutely fantastic against bosses because you just build up those rods and then right click and then zap them out. You know what, screw it, 9 out of 10 because it's so fun and easy. And last but not least, we have the Longness Rifle, and the Longness Rifle and the ElectriLance are both 15 of the blue premium currency, which you get during runs beating bosses and unlocking little blue crates around the stage. This currency is also used to increase your max amount of health and shield, as well as stamina, which is done outside of the runs. It's also used to unlock some other augments. But the Longness Rifle has to be the second simplest weapon to use in concept, right after the Rad Rifle, because all you do is press and hold M1 and it shoots an infinitely long beam. That's right, infinitely long. You can shoot from one side of the map completely to the other and do the same amount of damage. It's completely hit scan and it holds a lot of heat, but once you get about half a heat, you shoot out this big old orb, and at the beginning of its life, it's very slow, but you can shoot the center of it with the Longness Rifle to make it larger and slower and do damage to literally anything inside of the diameter of this ball. I have no clue how to effectively use this weapon, I'm not even joking. I've tried so hard and I feel like I'm figuring out, but I'm just not quite. It almost feels like I'm playing a little bit of a puzzle game in front of my third-person shooter, so I'm going to give this a solid question mark out of 10 because I don't think I can fairly rate this weapon. It's great for bosses though, because you can hold down that primary fire and just beam them. Just shoot out the right click whenever you want to, but just beam them. Might take a little bit of extra time, but you'll get there. You'll get there. Plus, the balls bounce off of walls, so you can't go bad with that. I hope this video was comprehensive enough, and I hope the background visuals kind of helped you understand the points that I'm trying to make and the points that I gave, and why I gave them, and why I enjoy them. The weapons, that is, not the points. But if you're looking for more actual gameplay, I uploaded another video on my second channel, because the devs low-key challenged me to a little bit of an augment run, where I basically just tried to get every single augment possible throughout my entire run. I ended up up with a number that's a lot higher than I expected. Let's just say that. Also, don't get used to these Wednesday uploads. This is a super special occasion. I'm super happy that Warden's Will is out now, and I'm glad that you can all enjoy it. But in the meantime, I'll be uploading every single Monday on my main channel here. I'll be uploading every single Wednesday on my second channel, my Overstock channel. So I'll see you around. See you next Monday.